Not a bad price. Let's get some of these. Now we need some flooring. Just got back from the hardware store. Got some timber. 70 by 35 by 1.8 meters. Got 12 of them to start with. Some hinges and some locks for the pins and treated pine screws. Plenty of those. This is the plyboard. It's about $40 a sheet. This is all we're going to use a floor in each of these. Strapped onto the trusty Forester. It's the pigeon mover. Let's get this one unloaded. So I'm going to start with the two ends. They're going to be 1.8 the height of this, so I'll lay them two down, run some across here. I've actually got some offcuts from the other pigeon lofts, so I'm going to try and reuse some of the material that I've got left over, like these little pieces. I think there's some more around here actually. Yes, the stash of pigeon material. So let's grab some of these. And I have some offcuts from the other loft. This is actually fence panels, but for pigeon lofts it works really well as a roof, so we'll try and design it around to use these up as well. Okay, so one side frame is done. So this is the top and this will be the bottom. So I've set it, so it'll sit 200mm off the ground, so it's away from the water, anything like that, and I can clean underneath there, whatever needs to be done. Simply just drilled some holes in here. I drilled down a bit with a drill, and then just stuck in some screws, which are like these big long ones like this, straight in, holding it in there. And all I need to do now is measure out each of the levels and then put that through there and see how we go. Okay, so I've done both the ends and also cut the in-between bits here, 4 of those. I'm going to put them in between here, top and bottom, and we can stand it up and see where we're at from there. Okay, so now this is together. You can see it's starting to take shape. I just need to go through and cut the timber for each of the floors, and then yeah, we'll move on from there. It's starting to look good. So next step is done. I've got all the levels in, so we've got 1, 2 and 3. They're going to be my breeding boxes. There's plenty of room here. Got old mate having a bit of a look. So as you can see from this little guy's size, there's going to be plenty of room for the move around in here. And that's sort of one thing when I was building this, I wanted the height here, especially when you get a pair and they're trying to breed, you definitely need that height so you know he can jump on top and do his thing. With my other cage there is one that's a bit smaller, not as high. And sometimes the things get a little bit rocky, not as good as what it could be. So I gave them a bit extra room. What do you reckon? You like it, do you? So I'm just going through now. I've got all these compartments in, making the door frames, which there's a complete one there. I've just got to attach it to there. And as you can see, I've done the top one as well. That's all in there, ready to go. all 3 compartments have the doors on. Now my next step is I'm just going to put a coat of paint on the front here, and then we'll look at getting the floors in. So I'll get the paint on and then we'll go from there. Okay, so coat of paint's on. Just going to let that dry now, and then I'm going to tackle these boards. I've painted it similar to the main loft anyway because it's going to sit beside it, and I kind of want it to blend in and look very much the same. Ready to measure up the sheeting. I've just measured across here and also across here. I'm just going to cut the sheets out 600 by 1000, and then we can cut out all these little bits to make them fit into here. It's big sheeting, as you can see. Just mark my line with a straight edge and then just going to cut it with a jigsaw. Okay, we've cut all the floors out, cut them to fit and screwed them all down in every corner. Starting to take shape quite well. So I've just laid it down, but I have put the roof on, which is here, and I'm just about to put this wire on. I'm going to roll this down just for this section and then pin it in place and cut it, and also put in some palings on this side just to clad this for now. Alright, so I've cut the main bit of wire. It's one big piece, and I'm just tacking it in with these little U staples, just like a nail, and you set them on there like that and just tap them in, and it holds the wire in. Okay, so wires on all the doors and there. Just need to give that a quick paint, and I can stand it up and put the side and the back on. It's done. So the easiest way that I paint the wire is just with these little rollers. You can use big ones, but these mini rollers work quite fine. I'm just using the Dulux Weather Shield. It's black, low sheen, and works perfect for this kind of thing. Painting it black is going to make it 100 times easier to see your birds. So you can see the difference here compared to here. You don't get the glare and reflection. So yeah, that's a good tip to know. You can see the difference there. It's huge. Look at that difference. Just finished the breeding boxes. Set of 3, fully cladded around the sides, painted the wire, latches everything on, and I've just put 2 of my young birds in there to get a bit of an idea of the size. That's what I use for nest bowls, so there's actually quite a bit of room in them. Enough for a pair to raise some young. So there it is. 1, 2, 3. Once my 2 pairs have finished raising the young one now, I'm going to move this into that position and move those 2 cockbirds in here and the hen, and I'm going to pair them up with some of my barless most likely, and we're going to try and get one round out of those guys, hopefully before the season gets too hot. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button up here. If you have any questions, just drop them down below, or any comments. I'm going to write back to every single one of them, so go ahead, send me some questions or whatever. See you guys next time. Most likely tomorrow.